Vedanta Swami Namaste Sarswati Deva Shati Deshatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 77, Text 21. So, do you chant the verse with the purport, or do you chant the verse? It depends on me. Okay. So we'll chant the verse with the purport. I'll just read these verses. Gadayam sannivrittayam shalvastvantaradhiyata tato muhurta agatya purusha shirasachyutam devakya prahitosmiti natva prahavachorudhan. Translation. But as soon as Lord Achyuta withdrew his club, Shalva disappeared from sight. And a moment later, a man approached the Lord. Bowing his head down to him, he announced, Devaki has sent me. And sobbing, spoke the following words. Krishna Krishna Mahabhaho Pitate Pitruvatsala Bhadva Panitha Shalvena Saunikena Yata Pashuhu. The man said, O Krishna, Krishna, mighty armed one, who are so affectionate to your parents, Shalva has seized your father and taken him away as a butcher leads an animal to slaughter. Nishamya vipriyam Krishno manushim prakritim gataha vimanasko grihni snehad bhabashe prakrito yata. When he heard this disturbing news, Lord Krishna, who was playing the role of a mortal man, showed sorrow and compassion. And out of love for his parents, he spoke the following words like an ordinary conditioned soul. Katham ramam asambhrantam jitva jayam surasuraihi shalvena piyasa nitha pitame balavan vidhihi. Lord Krishna said, Balarama is ever vigilant, and no demigod or demon could defeat him. So how could this insignificant Shalva defeat him and abduct my father? Indeed, fate is all powerful. Iti bruvane govinde saubharat pratyupasthitihi vasudevam ivaniya Krishnam chedamuvachasaha. After Govinda spoke these words, the master of Shaubha again appeared, apparently leading Vasudev before the Lord. Shalva then spoke as follows. Eshate janita tato yadhartam miha jivasi vadhishyate vikshataste mum Ishaschet pahi balisha. Shalva said, Here is your dear father, who begot you, and for whose sake you are living in this world. I shall now kill him before your very eyes. Save him if you can, weakling. Evam nirbhatsya mayavi khadgena kadhundubehe Utkritya shira adaya khastham shaubham samavishat. After he had mocked the Lord in this way, the magician Shalva appeared to cut off Vasudev's head with his sword. Taking his head with him, he entered the Shaubha vehicle, which was hovering in the sky. Tato muhurtam prakrita upaplutha Swabodha aste swajananusangataha mahanubhavas tadabhudya shaurim Mayam sasalva prashruta mayoditam. By nature, Lord Krishna is full in knowledge, and he possesses unlimited powers of perception. Yet for a moment, out of great affection for his loved ones, he remained absorbed in the mood of an ordinary human being. He soon recalled, however, that this was all a demoniac illusion engineered by Mayadanava and employed by Shalva. Na tatra dutam na pitus kalevaram prabuddha ajau samapashyadachyutaha swapnam yata chambaracharinam ripum shaubhastam alokya nihantumudhyataha. Now alert to the actual attention, Lord Achyuta saw before him on the battlefield neither the messenger nor his father's body. It was as if he had awakened from a dream. Seeing his enemy flying above him in a Shaubha plain, the Lord then prepared to kill him. Saubha, not Shaubha. Okay, this verse has a purport, so please repeat. Evam vadanti rajarshe rishayah ke cha nanvitaha tat swa vacho virudhyeta nunam te na smaranti uta evam vadanti rajarshe evam vadanti rajarshe rishaya nanvitaha sorry rishaya kecha nanvitaha yat swavacho virudhyeta yat swavacho virudhyeta nunam te na smarantyuta nunam te na smarantyuta evam vadanti rajarshe rishaya kecha nanvitaha yat swavacho virudhyeta nunam te na smarantyuta. Please repeat. Evam vadanti rajarshe shayakye chananvitaha yaccha vacho virudhyeta nam te na smarantyuta. Vadanti rajarshe Okay, Matajis. Vadanti rajarshe Okay, word-to-word translations. Evam, so, vadanti, say, Rajarishe, O sage among kings, Parikshit, Rishayaha, sages, Kecha, some, na, not, Anvitaha, reasoning correctly, yet, since, Swa, their own, Vachaha, words, Virudhyeta, are contradicted, Nunam, for certain, Te, they, Na, Smaranti, do not remember, Uta, indeed. Translation: such is the account given by some sages, O wise king. But those who speak in this illogical way are contradicting themselves, having forgotten their own previous statements. Purport: if someone thinks that Lord Krishna was actually bewildered by Shalva's magic and that the Lord was subjected to ordinary mundane lamentation, such an opinion is illogical and contradictory, since it is well known that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, transcendental and absolute. This will be further explained in the following verses. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Ditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalayai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajanulambita Bhujao Kanakavadhatao Sankirtanai Kapitarao Kamalayataksha Vishwambarao Dujavarao Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagat Priyakarao Karunavataro Shri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande Balopi Yattat Anugraha Tarenana Matagraha Vyaptam Siddhanta Sagaram Evam Vadanti Raja Rishe Rishayak Kecha Nanvitaha Yatsvacho Virudhyeta Nunam te nasmarantyuta. Such is the account given by some sages, O wise king, but those who speak in this illogical way are contradicting themselves, having forgotten their own previous statements. Before I begin, I'd like to take the permission and blessings of all the assembled devotees here, especially the very senior ones at ISKCON Juhu, and I feel very fortunate for being given this opportunity to please the Vaishnavas, and I pray for your blessings that I may say something pleasing to Srila Prabhupada and pleasing to Sri Sri Gaur Nitai, Sri Sri Radha-Ras-Bihari, and Sri Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. So, here we are discussing the pastime of Lord Krishna killing the demon Shalva. And just before the verses that we read, beginning from text 21, we see that actually Shalva was boasting in vain. So Shalva says, This is Shalva in text 18, says to Krishna, "You fool, because in our presence you kidnapped the bride of our friend Shishupal, your own cousin, and because you later murdered him in the sacred assembly while he was inattentive. Today with my sharp arrows I will send you to the land of no return. Though you think yourself invincible, I will kill you now if you dare stand before me." So here we see Shalva exhibiting the typical mentality of a conditioned soul for whom morality and righteousness is all based on the bodily conception of life. And according to him, how could you do this to your cousin? But according to Krishna, this Shishupal is a demon and he deserves to be killed. Kamsa is Krishna's own uncle. Krishna did not hesitate to kill Kamsa when required. So Krishna, showing the example that he teaches in Bhagavad, he displays himself the example of the philosophy that he preaches in Bhagavad-gita, which he tells Arjuna, why are you affected by this miserly weakness? Miserly weakness. Where has this impotency come upon you that you don't want to kill your own relatives, even when they attack you, even when they are trying to harm you and your own wife and your brothers? So Krishna is not such a weak-minded person. Krishna, of course, is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he doesn't display such weakness. But Shalva, being a demon, cannot understand this. According to them, your bodily relationship is the highest morality. And therefore, he now wants to take revenge on Krishna. And he speaks big words. Then what does the Supreme Lord do? In text 20, Supreme Lord says, "The furious Lord swung his club with frightening power and speed and hit Shalva on the collarbone, making him tremble and vomit blood." So this is the scene before we get into the verses we're discussing today, that Krishna has attacked Shalva. Shalva has vomited blood and trembled. So now Shalva is fearing for his life. So now he resorts to black magic. And this is the verse. So what does he do? Then, as soon as Achyuta withdrew his club, Shalva disappeared from sight. Because why does Krishna withdraw his club? Because in Kshatriya battle, you give the opponent a chance to fight back. And so Krishna is withdrawing his club because he is honorable. But this Shalva is a demon. He has no honor. So he starts to use black magic. Just like Indrajit. Indrajit employed the same tactic, exact same tactic, in the battlefield of Ramayana, where he brings Maya Sita and decapitates her in front of Rama and Lakshmana. So, so we see here that it's very interesting. This man, so-called man, who's suddenly appearing and bowing his head down, he says, "Devaki has sent me," and sobbing, and speaks the following words. So now, what does the demon do? Again, remember, Shalva is accusing Krishna that you attacked your cousin. What kind of a person are you? So now, again, because a conditioned living entity, a materialist, cannot think beyond his bodily conception of life. Now what does he say? What does this so-called man say? Devaki has sent me. Who's Devaki? Mother of Krishna. So again, trying to evoke these bodily sentiments. So trying to evoke that. Devaki has sent me. What? Devaki has sent someone. My mother has sent someone. So immediately, it's trying to divert Krishna from his duty of killing Shalva using bodily affection. So now, then you see here, the man says in text 22, "O Krishna, 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 Mahabaho. O Krishna, Krishna, mighty armed one." Why use this word Mahabaho? Again, emphasizing the bodily strength. Oh, you're such a mighty armed person. Why emphasize that? Because already he has shown his might by trying to kill. He almost killed Shalva. Right? He made him vomit blood and he's trembling. So why emphasize that? Because Pita te Pitravatsala, you who are so affectionate to your parents. You are so affectionate to your parents. You actually love your parents. So again, evoking that, because what is the duty of a son? The duty of a son is to protect his parents. That when the parents get attacked, the son has to protect. So evoking the same bodily sentiment. Shalva has seized your father and taken him away, as a butcher leads an animal to slaughter. Showing that why this butcher leads an animal to slaughter. Sannikena yatapashuhu. That his father is helpless. He's helpless like an animal. You have to protect him. You are protecting your parents. You have to protect him. So he is trying to evoke these emotions. From this, what can we understand? We can understand, also from Bhagavad-gita, we can understand that when one is too much affected by bodily sentiments, by material sentiments, by affection for one's relatives, one gets diverted from one's duty. That's what happened to Arjuna. Karpanya dosho bhatasva bhava prichami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha yet shreyasya nischitan bruhitan me. So Arjuna says that because of this miserly weakness, Arjuna is able to recognize that he is affected by this, but he gives the characteristics of that. What is that? Dharma sammuda. I don't know what to do. I'm caught in a conflict of dharma. Yet shreyasya nishchitan bruhitame. I don't know what to do, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what is best for me. So Shalva, through black magic, is trying to put Krishna in this kind of illusion. Right? This is what he is trying to do. And from this we can understand that whenever we are affected by such bodily affection, we will also lose track of our duty. Just like Arjuna, he is expert. He is a very, very righteous person. He knows all the rules and regulations of Shastra. He is very intelligent and he is very duty bound. He knows Kshatriya Dharma. He knows that these people need to be killed. He knows that Duryodhana and his party needs to be slayed. But when bodily affection becomes too much, even such a righteous person can become bewildered. Therefore, as aspiring devotees, it is very, very important for us to understand that we have to keep this bodily affection at bay. Why? Why do we have to keep this bodily affection? Because this body is right now attached to our soul. Right now we have this body, and the chance is always there that we can become bewildered. How to not become bewildered? How to not become bewildered? By knowledge. This is why Krishna is speaking Bhagavad-gita. Because when one has knowledge, and therefore Arjuna, even though he has this miserly weakness, even though he's lost composure and he's lost sense of what to do, because he is submissive and he seeks knowledge from the right authority, he is saved. He is saved. Similarly, there are situations in our life where we will also become confused like this. We will not understand what to do because of bodily weakness and affection. Shri Gaurnitai, SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. And at that point of time, it is very, very important for us to seek guidance. And even if our conclusion, actually it's very interesting, I said this in a class yesterday, that after saying this verse, what does Arjuna tell to Krishna? Na yotsyeti govindam, uktva tushnim babuvaha. That after saying that I have become your disciple, Arjuna also throws in one thing there. Krishna, actually I don't want to fight. I won't fight. But because he has taken the position of being humble, Krishna will instruct him. So, even though a conditioned living entity, we may be stuck, we may be having, Prabhuji, I cannot do this. It is not possible for me to do this. But still, if one has taken the position of humility, if one has taken the position of being submissive, and one has accepted the position of being under the right authority, then one can always be saved. Even though one may be determined. If one is in the right, just like this is specifically in regards to the discussion that the Yamadutas were having at Yamaraj. Even though the Yamadutas associated with the Vishnudutas, they still understood nothing about Krishna consciousness. But because they were submissive to Yamaraj, when Yamaraj explained the same thing to them, they were able to understand. Because they were submissive. Otherwise, they were on the point of committing suicide. Prabhupada says, if you read Second Chance, Prabhupada says that the Yamadutas were practically, Vishnuchita Chakravarti Thakur comments that the Yamadutas wanted to commit suicide. And same thing, Arjuna, I'm not going to fight. Let them kill me. Practically he's saying, I'm going to commit suicide also. Let them kill me, it's okay. The madness. So, we are also affected by this kind of madness due to mundane conceptions. And when we are affected by mundane conception, we lose track of what to do in life. And we will see here that Krishna, just to show us what happens when one becomes bewildered, he plays the role just as a pastime, like a person playing a drama. Krishna is also apparently affected by such mundane affection. And then he laments. So, here in the next verse, text 23, when he heard this disturbing news, Lord Krishna, who was playing the role of a mortal man, showed sorrow and compassion out of love for his parents and spoke the following words like an ordinary conditioned soul. Lord Krishna said, Balarama is ever vigilant and no demigod or demon can defeat him. So how could this insignificant Shalva defeat him and abduct my father? Indeed, fate is all powerful. Now, we have to understand that when Krishna plays the role of a conditioned living entity, such as lamentation, grief, etc., there is some enjoyment that he feels. There is some enjoyment. Krishna is ultimately the supreme enjoyer. And just as a person playing the role of a drama, when he gets angry, there is some pleasure in that anger, although that anger is only for drama. Otherwise, anger, when you get consumed by anger, anger is not good. But when the same anger, when the same grief, when the same lamentation is under one's control, there is pleasure. There is pleasure. Because it evokes affection. It evokes emotions. Why emotions? Because Krishna is ultimately Rasa Vigraha. He is Rasa Vigraha. He is the embodiment of all loving affection, of all emotions. And Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer of these emotions. So, Krishna enjoys. Krishna enjoys becoming scared of Yashoda. We are coming to the month of Kartik. He enjoys being scared. He enjoys seeing Yashoda becoming compassionate to him because he is becoming scared. There is enjoyment in this. A father also apparently sometimes, in order to evoke affection in his son, sometimes acts as if he is hurt. And the son immediately runs around trying to find some band-aid or something like this and try to come and give it to the father. There is enjoyment in this. But Krishna and his devotees are able to enjoy these emotions without becoming conditioned by them. Why? Because in Krishna's pastimes, Krishna is the center. The problem is, as conditioned living entities in this material world, we also want to enjoy these emotions. But the problem is, we enjoy these emotions with us as the center. And then we become conditioned. Why do we become conditioned? Because we aren't the center of this universe, if we haven't realized that by now. We're not the center of the world. And when we try to make ourselves the center of this universe, we suffer. We become conditioned. Maya attacks us. Maya encaptures us. And by capturing us, she gives punishment in the form of threefold miseries. So, Krishna also enjoys this. He enjoys this. Oh, I'm giving affection. And the other thing is, by doing so, he makes Shalva apparently prideful. This Shalva, he thinks, see, I finally managed to bewilder Krishna. What does that mean? It means that the fight becomes more relishable. Because Krishna enjoys the pastime of fooling Shalva. He fools Shalva. Now Shalva will fight more vigorously. And then Krishna can get a good fight. So, in this way, Krishna enjoys these pastimes. Okay, going on to the next verse, text 25. After Govinda spoke these words, the master of Saubha again appeared, apparently leading Vasudev before the Lord. Shalva then spoke as follows. Here is your dear father who begot you, and for whose sake you are living in this world. I shall now kill him before your eyes. Say him if you can, weakling. Actually, Shalva is correct. Krishna is living for the sake of his devotees. Krishna performs all his pastimes for the sake of his devotees. And his devotees live for the sake of Krishna. Krishna says this is in Bhagavad-gita. No one is as dear to him as his devotees. Now, although Shalva understands this, because he is a demon, he thinks Krishna's affection is material, just like his affection of his parents. Or his affection for his friend, Shishupal. So, therefore, his glorification of Krishna is mundane. It's not the same as the glorification of a devotee towards Krishna. And he doesn't understand this, and therefore, he tries to attack Krishna. Then, text 27, after he had mocked the Lord in this way, the magician Shalva appeared to cut off Vasudev's head with his sword. Taking the head with him, he entered the Shaubha vehicle, which is hovering in the sky. What is basically Shalva trying to do? He's trying to create this illusion so that he can run away. That's basically, he's entering his vehicle, ready to leave. Immediately Krishna recognizes, okay, enough of your drama, now finished. Now you're trying to escape, okay, I'm going to try to kill you. So therefore, Krishna says, Krishna is full of knowledge. Therefore, the verse says, and he possesses unlimited powers of perception. What does that mean? He understands what Shalva is thinking in his mind. You rascal, you're trying to run away. Now my drama is over. Yet for a moment, out of great affection for his loved ones, he remained absorbed in the mood of an ordinary human being. He soon recalled, however, that this was all the demoniac illusion engineered by Mayadanava and employed by Shalva. So then, now alert to the actual situation, Lord Achyuta saw before him on the battlefield neither the messenger nor his father's body. It was as if he had awakened from a dream, seeing his enemy flying above him in his Shaubha plane. In his Saubha plane, the Lord then prepared to kill him. So, how to understand that there is enjoyment in grief, lamentation. There is transcendental enjoyment in transcendental grief, transcendental lamentation, transcendental illusion. If you read Ramayana, you can understand that the Ramayana actually, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj explains this multiple times, that the Ramayana is actually a very sad story. If you think about it, the Ramayana is a sad story. Why? Up to the point of Rama becoming, older, everything seems fine. Then suddenly Vishwamitra wants to take Rama and Lakshmana away to the forest. Immediately Dasharatha is plunged in extreme anxiety. So much anxiety that he wants to actually give up his word that he gives to Vishwamitra. Okay, that's not so bad. And then Vishwamitra uses Rama and Lakshmana to kill Tataka. And then Rama and Lakshmana become married, and this is all wonderful, and everything looks fine, and then suddenly Parshurama comes. And is about to threaten Rama and Lakshmana. Immediately Dasharatha is plunged in grief. Okay. Then Parashurama is subdued. Then you go back, everything looks very nice. Dasharatha is now planning for the coronation of Lord Rama. Everybody is excited. Suddenly this Kaikeyi throws a bomb. And Rama is exiled to the forest. Unimaginable. Rama is exiled to the forest. And the whole kingdom of Ayodhya is plunged in grief and sorrow and lamentation for the entire period. The so many years that Lord Rama and Lakshmana were in the forest. And Rama and Lakshmana and Sita are in the forest living a harsh life. Okay. Then Sita gets abducted. More sorrow. More lamentation. If we read the account of how Sita is being tortured by the Rakshasis in Lanka, it's very, very difficult to digest. It's a very, very sorrowful scene. Then Rama finds the Vanaras and the entire army of Vanaras attack Lanka, and Ravana is finally defeated, and now Rama doesn't want to accept Sita back. There is a twist, there is a sorrowful twist in literally every single section of the Ramayana. But, anyways, then Agni Pariksha happens. Sita Devi is accepted by Rama. And then Rama goes back to Ayodhya. The coronation actually happens. Everything looks wonderful. Then some demoniac washerman or demoniac, whatever, Shudra, different descriptions of who that person is. He accuses Rama of accepting a wife who had lived in the house of someone else, and Sita is again exiled. Pregnant. She is pregnant and she is exiled to the forest. And the sons of Rama grow up in the forest without even knowing who their father is. This is an amazing story. This is an amazing story. And then finally when they come back and Sita Devi comes back, she proves her chastity again, but this time she decides to disappear completely. And Bhumi Devi accepts her back into her shelter. So, but in spite of such a sorrowful story, the Ramayana is read again and again and again by millions of people over countless generations, over thousands of years. And they read it again and again, and every time you read the Ramayana, there is great relish, there is great ecstasy. Even though there is so much sorrow, it's difficult to not cry when one reads the Ramayana. But why are you doing this again and again and again? Because there is transcendental pleasure there. Now you can watch a horror movie, or you can try to do this. I used to read these books like Harry Potter and things like this before I came to Krishna. After you read it two times maximum, you really hate the book actually after that. You don't want to see it. It becomes so distasteful. But how is it that we can read the Ramayana again and again and again and again? Because it is transcendental. And the grief, the sorrow, the anxiety, it's all transcendental. So similarly, Supreme Lord over here, and that sorrow, that grief, that lamentation that we may feel when we are reading the Ramayana is actually blessing us to give up our mundane lamentation, mundane affection, mundane grief on the basis of our body, for our parents, our relatives, our wife, our children, our parents. And actually helps us develop affection for Lord Rama, for all his associates. Similarly, we can understand how Krishna, when he exhibits these things, he is a person. Krishna is a person. Everything is actually a personality. And in this way, we can understand how Krishna, his lamentation is not material. And we can see even Dhruva Maharaj, when his brother was killed, it's literally said that Dhruva Maharaj was overcome by grief, lamentation. Dhruva Maharaj is a pure devotee. He was already blessed by the Supreme Lord. He saw the Supreme Lord face to face. He is overcome by grief and lamentation. These are not mundane emotions. And as devotees, actually, in Lord Chaitanya's movement, the preaching mission is enabling us to experience this even in our conditioned state. This is Lord Chaitanya's great mercy upon us. That by engaging in Lord Chaitanya's mission, by trying to help spread Krishna consciousness, there are so many anxieties and problems that we have to accept. We can escape and run away from these things, but we won't be able to give up our mundane affection. We won't be able to give up our mundane anarthas if we don't feel affection, anxiety for the purpose of propagating the Supreme Lord's mission. If we don't feel affection for devotees, if we don't feel affection for the lotus feet of the spiritual master, if we don't feel affection for the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, then it will not be possible for us to develop affection for the lotus feet of Sri Sri Gaur Nitai, SriSriRadhaRasbihari, Sri Sri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman. It is not possible. Lord Chaitanya's movement, Therefore, we keep saying every day, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, that we are offering glorification to all the groups of devotees who exist on this planet, who exist in the universe. As Vaishnavas, it is very important to develop affection for other Vaishnavas, not hatred. Otherwise, we cannot gain access. We will not be able to appreciate these pastimes of the Supreme Lord. And if we don't appreciate these things, what happens is either we become Mayavadis or impersonalists who think that all mundane all affection, all types of emotions, all types of forms, everything has to be given up ultimately. And they become very rigid, very stoic. And this you can see in the example of Prakashananda Saraswati. They cannot understand. They couldn't even understand why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is singing and dancing. Singing and dancing. You're supposed to be reading Vedanta. You're supposed to be very stern, very strict, very stoic. You don't understand these. So, our process of Krishna consciousness is meant to evoke these emotions. Not in an artificial way. It has to be based on philosophy, not sentiment. Then it will become Sahajiyism. One has to follow also. And say, I feel so much for the spirit. I feel so much. You know, when I see my spiritual master, immediately I start crying. But then when the spiritual master asks you to do something, you don't do it. Then what is the value of your crying? Oh Prabhuji, I love you so much I love you. Can you please bring me a glass of water? Can you go and get it yourself? What is the use? Where is the affection? So, that means if Srila Prabhupada is telling us that you have to rise up early every morning, you have to chant 16 good rounds, you have to read his books every day. If you don't do that, but you are experiencing so much emotions and so much ecstasy, then such ecstasy is supposed to be understood to be mundane. Such taste is infected by mundane sentiments. And therefore, it's very important to understand that we have to follow Krishna consciousness seriously. We have to follow Krishna consciousness strictly. And we have to take some anxiety for the sake of the spiritual master. We have to take, it's not easy. In the association of devotees, so many problems are there. Too many problems are there. Because society means automatically there's different personalities, different emotions, different sentiments, different opinions, and all these things come about. But guess what? Krishna is also in a society of devotees, in the spiritual world. And there also so many things are going on. By the way, there are politics in Vrindavan between different groups of Krishna's devotees. But it's all for the pleasure of Krishna. It's all for increasing Krishna's pleasure. And in the material world, in Lord Chaitanya's movement, those who are unable to overcome their mundane sense of politics, which they are doing for their own sense gratification, they will never be able to give up anarthas. But those who are sincere devotees, they'll recognize, right now I'm engaging in politics, and this is for my own sense gratification. And if I'm going to continue like this, I'm going to take birth again. Do I want to take birth again? Or do I want to actually achieve love of God? Do I want to go back home, back to Godhead? The solution is not to run away like Arjuna thinks to the forest. That's not the solution. The solution is Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. Pray to Krishna. When we don't know what to do, chant Hare Krishna. When you don't know what to do, chant Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna. Try to read Srila Prabhupada. calm ourselves down and understand that ultimately Krishna is in control. Nothing is happening without Krishna's will. We are in a particular situation in order for ourselves to reform ourselves. Of course, we have to take guidance of senior devotees. That's why senior devotees are there. Spiritual master is there. We have to take guidance from Srila Prabhupada's books, but important is to have a good guide in the form of a senior devotee who actually cares for us. And if we want to find such a person, Krishna will make arrangements. So in this way, we can gain access to Krishna's pastimes, we can achieve perfection, we can relish these things that are said in the 10th canto, which is ultimately the summum bonum. And then we can become Machchita Madgata Prana Bodhayantav Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nishyam Tushyanti Ramanti Cha. Then we can relish, like Krishna is describing his pure devotees in Bhagavad-gita. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here. If there are any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. Yes, Govinda Bhashya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vishnuchita, for your very enthusiastic and animated class. The first question is, before the Bhagavatam class, you recited a prayer that I never heard before, something about Sankirtan and Yuga Dharma. Can you please explain that prayer?
Ajanu Lambita Bujo, Kanakavadato, Sankirtanaika Pitra. Okay. This is glorification of Shri Shri Gaurnitai. So the verse, Ajanu Lambita Bujao, Kanakavadato. So Ajanu Lambita, they have beautiful bodies. Ajanu Lambita, long arms. Ajanu Lambita Bujao, Kanakavadato. And they have beautiful earrings, Supreme Lord. Sankirtanaika Pitaro, they are the fathers. They are the fathers or the great grandfathers, or great grandsires, the inaugurators of the Sankirtan movement. Sankirtanaika Pitaro, two fathers. That is Nityananda and Chaitanya. Sankirtanaika Pitaro, Kamalaya Takshav. Kamalaya Akshav, meaning their eyes, they have beautiful lotus-like eyes. Kamalaya Takshav. Vishwambarao Dvijavarao. They are the sustainers of the entire world, the maintainers of the whole world, the entire universe. Vishwambarao. Dvijavarao, they are the best of the twice born. Vishwambarao, Dvijavarao, Yuga Dharma Palau. And they are the protectors of the Yuga Dharma, which is the all-powerful Sankirtan. Yuga Dharma Pala, Vande Jagat Priya Karao. And they're very dear, Vande Jagat Priya Karao, Karuna Avataro. And they are the most merciful incarnations. Vande Jagat Priya Karao, Karuna Avataro. Yeah, that's the end of the verse.
Where is that from?
This is, I believe, now suddenly my memory fails me, but I believe this is by Prabodhananda Saraswati. Yeah.
Very nice. Most people maybe not know who you are, but I first met Vishnuchita Prabhu in New York, and when I heard that you have left and went to Atlanta, I was a little offended that you were a traitor. But no, let me finish. I'm sorry to say that, but he's done miraculous things in Atlanta, and you might want to tell other devotees about your success and book distribution there. Maybe devotees might want to hear that.
We're trying to serve Srila Prabhupada some way.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And
Hare
whatever
Krishna.
success we've had, this is because of the guidance of Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. So it's his plan. So if there's any success, that's all because of his guidance.
Just an extension to Roji's question, because the marathon is coming now in a month or so. Can you really, share some inspiring stories of how you distribute books in Atlanta, the whole team, Mahosa, Prabhu, you are there, and I met like few other devotees. So how do you distribute sets of books, and that too in thousands within a single day, every day?
Yeah, well, it's enthusiasm. I'll say that I was very surprised. I visited, came briefly, I visited I think about a week ago. I transited through Juhu. And we were announcing books course. Somehow or the other, Krishna's mercy, that day, our book scores in Krishna life were higher than that of Juhu. The thing is, Juhu is one of the top books distribution temples, as we see in the World Sankirtan newsletter. But for the amount of devotees you have here, you have so much potential. You have unlimited potential. I mean, we have very few devotees at Krishna life. What are we? We have 20 brahmacharis right now. But they're all Western. So that's Krishna's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy. But there's enthusiasm. And that enthusiasm comes by pure following. When Srila Prabhupada, when Tripurari Maharaj, there's a conversation with Srila Prabhupada. Tripurari Maharaj, Prabhupada called him the incarnation of book distribution. And he was sent to other temples to teach them how to do book distribution during Prabhupada's time. And then Prabhupada asked him, so what do you tell them? And Tripurari Maharaj begins by saying, Prabhupada, we first say that you have to rise early in the morning, you have to chant your rounds, you have to chant good rounds, you have to read your books every day. And Prabhupada cut him in between and said, yes, that is our process. That is our method. That is our secret. So that's where the potency comes from. And it comes from wanting to please the spiritual master, wanting to do something for Lord Chaitanya's mission. And one thing about Western devotees I've seen in general, it's hard to make them join Krishna consciousness. But once they do join Krishna consciousness, because Krishna consciousness is such a culturally absolutely different thing to whatever they were doing before, when they come, they really give themselves in completely. They don't hold themselves back. Because what is there to hold back? And in this way, they tend to be quite hardworking. They're very sincere and very enthusiastic. And if they don't maintain that enthusiasm, and if they are not engaged, if they don't keep themselves engaged constantly, then they find that immediately they are dragged by their past samskaras. So for them, it's either being enthusiastic and fired up in Krishna consciousness or being in Maya. So that helps because sincere devotees choose to become enthusiastic and fired up, and then they do so much for the mission. We saw how Prabhupada's disciples, what they achieved. Amazing. It's just amazing what they did. Here at the Mumbai Pandal program during Srila Prabhupada's time, they flew a plane with the advertisement. This is a completely American idea. You do this only in America, and they still do it in America. They flew a plane advertising the Pandal program, and people in India had never seen this. For a spiritual program, you fly a plane with an advertisement. It's called enthusiasm. It's called having that strong desire to serve Guru and Krishna. Then Krishna gives. Tesham evanukampartam aham ajnana jam tamaha nashayam atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvata. It's the same process. It's really it's not we mix something in the prasadam for the devotee, some secret powder, and then suddenly it's surcharged, and then they go out there and distribute books. No, it's really the same process. And then miracles happen. Just yesterday, it's amazing. One of our devotees did 62 Bhakta stats. That's 62 times 4 books. What's that? 248. 248 books at Harvard or MIT in Boston. Right now he's in Boston. In one day. All to Westerners, students. And that's really amazing. We did 945 books. Just yesterday, And Mahotsa wasn't distributing. He was in the temple. He had just arrived back from traveling Sankirtan. So this is the other devotees. I don't know how many book distributors were there. Did you look and see how many distributors were there or something yesterday? Huh? Probably like, 4 or 5 or 6 devotees. 945 books. On the street, not sponsored. And this is not Mahotsaha. Of course, Mahotsaha is, he's Mahotsaha. Extreme enthusiasm. He has something. But yeah, that's the process. If you want some story, Avadhuta Chandra Prabhu is one of our... How many books did you approximately did last marathon? Do you know? Do you remember? Any approximation? And how much did you do on that one day when you had that competition with Navani Hoda? What was that? You did... you don't remember?
40 or 50 saptas and then a few Bhagavatams.
And so, total of how many books approximately? 40, 50 saptas. So let's say 50 saptas in times 7, 350. And then a couple of Bhagavatam sets.
And a lot of Maha books also.
And then
Ramayana.
a couple of Maha books. So, yeah, somewhere around,
cases of Gitas.
450 or 500 books.
Yeah. It was very cold.
And it was cold.
Couldn't
And
feel
it
my
was
hands.
man to man. So, yeah, I don't know if that satisfies you, but there's so much that could be said. But really, this is the secret. This is where it's at. Oh, and we serve good prasadam. Good prasadam fires up brahmacharis, right? Nothing? Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, we can end here. Right? Okay. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.